So you brought up the tried and true notion of let the players play, or are there some restrictions on what they can do? I guess to be fair, considering we haven't really seen much of Brett Gardner's bad antics, I'd say that the umpires have that one all sorted out. It reminds me a little of an incident earlier in the year where the White Sox and the Royals got into it after Tim Anderson got hit by a pitch after showing off on a home run in the previous at-bat. He and a few others were suspended because it caused an altercation, but the official Twitter account of Major League Baseball said let the kids play and seemed to support what Tim Anderson was doing, even though at the same time the league was also suspending him for what he was doing. So this bit of an issue of who gets the final say. Speaking of let the players play, let's talk about the elephant in the room from last week, which is Players Weekend, and specifically the Players Weekend uniforms. Now, I'm not going to defend the uniforms. They're terrible. The players hate them, the coaches hate them, the fans hate them, and the news hates them. They're black and white monochrome mess, and they have no place in a weekend that is dedicated to letting players do many things that they are not normally allowed to do. Wearing different accessories, putting weird names on their backs, including emojis. Basically showing off the players, not the teams. The Cubs and a few other teams tried to go rogue by putting on their normal hats, which added a little splash of color, but the league quickly clamped down on that. I kind of agree with a suggestion by Joe Maddon, the Cubs manager, saying that why not let the players design the uniforms for their teams? Which is an excellent idea, I think. If you're putting a weekend forward that is just about the players, why not have the players decide what they're going to wear? Considering all the different cleat designs out there, like Clint Frazier's and Mike Trout's and whatnot, I would love to see these guys take a crack at a uniform and see what they would like to wear over the next coming Players Weekend. Unless it's the White Sox golf polo and shorts. That was a terrible idea. Just MLB, please. Don't make it the No Fun League and bring back monochrome. Speaking of football, Indianapolis quarterback Andrew Luck. In a press conference, he said that the constant cycle of injuries and rehabbing, which he has been off injured the last several years, has finally taken its toll on him, and he said, no more, I can't take... Now, there are plenty of fans that disagree with the assessment of just because you're hurt all the time doesn't mean you can't play. There were a lot of booing fans after the press conference, to which even other players like Aaron Rodgers were surprised at how quickly they turned on him. What I say, kudos for him for saying that I can't do this anymore. How many players do we know have played longer than their bodies have allowed them to? That they're immensely talented at the beginning, but just injuries wreaked havoc with their bodies. Mark McGwire is an example of it. Steroids notwithstanding, he very rarely had a year where he could put it all together and stay healthy on the field. For some examples of players retiring before their prime, the perfect example, Sandy Koufax. Pitched 27-3 in the prime of his career and then said, I have an arthritic elbow and I have to quit, otherwise I will not be able to move my arm. More recently, we have CC Sabathia, who, yes, he's 38, 39, and at that point where he can comfortably retire, but who's to say he couldn't pitch a few more years if not for his balky knees? I wish Andrew Luck the best of retirement. I wish Colts fans who are jeering him to get a swift dose of reality. And hopefully the Colts can rebound, considering that the regular NFL season is just a couple weeks away and they're having to go with their backup quarterback as their number one option. And lastly, Joe, I have a question for you. What about the Knicks? A question that I'm asked about at work, and considering I'm not too much of a basketball expert, I would like to pose it to you, who knows a little bit more than what I do. What about the Knicks? Is there anything we can report on them as the NBA season is coming up? I await your answer, and I will see you next time.